Somewhere between falling in love and falling apart, I started asking myself, what is love really supposed to feel like? Not the movie kind, not the textbook kind, not the one I rehearsed in my head growing up, but the real kind, the messy, aching, beautiful kind. The kind that leaves you change. I used to think love was this grand rescue mission. That someone out there would arrive with all the missing pieces I couldn't find in myself. That the right person could stitch up the parts of me that felt too broken to belong. And maybe that's why my first real relationship felt like fire. It was warm, intense, consuming. We were both new to the idea of us. Two people fumbling through feelings we weren't sure how to name, let alone show in public. We lived together, shared meals, secrets, silences, and yet there was always this undercurrent of fear. Fear of being seen, of being judged, of not fitting into the world that made no room for a love like ours. Eventually, that fire ran out of air. We mistook survival for connection, and doubt for passion. And it taught me love cannot breathe where fear is louder than truth. Then came the second, older me, but not necessarily wiser. I had grown bolder in who I was, but harsher on others. He taught me that pride can wear the costume of confidence, and judgment often masks the wounds we haven't forgiven in ourselves. I tried to mold the relationship into what I thought it should be, forgetting that love is not a performance. It's practice, a patient one. And then there was love in isolation, my third one. Pandemic years, where time blurred and the walls felt smaller. We built a life inside a world that had paused. But somewhere in that stillness, I began to disappear. Not because he asked me to, but because I thought being loved meant being needed, and needing meant shrinking, until I couldn't recognize the voice in my own head anymore. We parted quietly. There was no grand fight, no dramatic goodbye, just two people releasing each other. Because staying would have meant losing more than love. It would have meant losing ourselves. The last one came like a spark. Fast, electric, alive. A summer fling where time didn't matter and consequences felt far away. But reality has a way of catching up to fantasy. And this time, I chose to leave. Not because I wasn't tempted to stay, but because I had finally learned to trust myself enough to walk away when I felt myself slipping again. You see, each one of them left something behind. A lesson, a scar, a small shard of who I was at that time. And with each goodbye, I came back to myself a little more whole. Not because I had finally figured out love, but because I stopped asking it to fix me. Now, when I think about love, I don't picture fireworks. I don't imagine someone completing the puzzle of my life. Instead, I think of parallel paths. Two people walking their own journeys, sometimes hand in hand, sometimes side by side with space between, but always looking in the same direction. Love, for me, is no longer about filling a void. It's about finding someone who sees the full house you've already built inside yourself and still chooses to knock on your door. I used to think love was supposed to save me. Now I believe it's supposed to see me. And the kind of love I want moving forward, it doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives with warmth, with calm, with the kind of quiet that feels like home. Not because it's loud with passion, but because it's steady with presence. And maybe that's enough. Maybe love doesn't have to be everything, just something real,